Only the children of light is gonna understand this.
For there are three philosophical sects among the Jews, the followers of the first of which are the Pharisees, of the second, the Sadducees, and the third sect, and the third sect, which pretends to a severer discipline, are called the Essenes. These last are Jews by birth, and Jews by birth,
This is the knowledge of the Essene brotherhood. This is the knowledge of the Essene brotherhood. This is the knowledge of the Essene brotherhood. Taking it back to the way that it was in the beginning.
All right. First and foremost, I want to say all praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Yahweh Christ, our Lord, our God, our Savior. This is the SC Community Church of Christ. My name is Archbishop Shamar,
And I'm Bishop Michaela.
and we be bringing you today's Sabbath report slash lesson slash worship slash gospel slash song of the day. Once again, it's what are magicians according to the Bible. All right, so what are magicians according to the Bible? All right, and we've been going into an in-depth, deep dive on just what is a magician and all it encompasses. All right, and we've been able to see that a magician practices all the arts that were taught by the fallen ones before the flood. All right, so all the arts that the fallen ones revealed onto the woman that they went onto and shared these secrets. All right, all these women then shared these secrets with their children, their sons, their daughters. All right, and this information spread and caused sin. All right, and under this, there's sorcery, which is dealing with pharmakia, which is a druggist that's dealing with the herbs, different potions, things of that nature. All right, you have science and knowledge of clouds. All right, that's a magician as well. Right, you have necromancy. All of these things encompasses the arts that was taught by the fallen ones. All right, metals finding in the earth, the sciences of them, melting them down. All of these things fall under what a true magician, according to the Bible, would be dealing with. Weapons, making them, finding the materials for them. All of these were the arts shown by the fallen ones. The art of making swords, knives. All right. What happened was, as we took a deep dive and seen in the beginning, was that once these arts then placed itself in Persia, their priests who were dealing with these arts were called magi. And because they were known to deal with this, all right, through their religion, Zoroastrianism, all right, that's been there the whole time and only got replaced by Islam. All right, so because it's been in that region so long and they've been practicing it, everybody who's been associated with those practices now are called magi's or magicians, and that's where the word stopped. All right, and then through time we see that they stripped all the arts from the individual that they be dealing with into only deception and tricks in our modern time. All right, but as we've been going through everything, we've been seeing that it's a magician according to the Bible is much more than that. All right, encompasses all the arts and crafts revealed by the fallen angels to mankind through women. All right. And these women have committed adultery. So once again, these fallen ones came as the most beautiful men of their dreams, all right, to them in their marriage, and they chose to do these things, all right? So as much as people would think they came and they took them and forced them, it wasn't that, all right? They forcibly took them with their looks, all right, meaning they couldn't resist them, all right, and they fell into the sin. All right, so once again, this is part 6 of what is a magician according to the Bible. I pray everybody had a blessed week. Once again, the week is made in likeness of the earth cycle. What do we mean by that? Meaning the cycle the Most High has mankind going through. All right. First, it was the 7 days of creation. All right. Mankind made on the 6th day. Man falls. All right. The whole symbolism of the 7th day is because that 7th day truly didn't become a rest for the earth. So now we're recycling that 7th day. And it's becoming the rest day. All right. And it's important to know in terms of the timeline that we are in the biblical story. Right? This is why we have jubilees. This is why we have all of these things. All right. That the Most High put these practices in front of us so that we have foreshadowings of them. All right. Why do we have a weekday? Why is it 7 days? Why is there the Sabbath day? Why was man created on the 6th day? Why did he fall on the 6th day? Why is there this one day that's coming back, a rest day, 1,000 years? Why would it be 1,000 years? And why would it be a rest day if it wouldn't be in the 7,000 year and be the Sabbath? All right, so these things are very important in understanding our whole makeup. And the Most High puts the law of nature there, all right, so that we can reassure ourselves of things when information we can start doubting it, all right? The law of nature, all right, is immovable, all right? As much as they would like to change it, they can't change it. Example being, they would love for to be able to develop a man to be able to breed children, all right? They would sell that to the world. They would market that to the next bidder, all right? But they can't. They're trying, but they can't.
This is the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?
All right, so once again, who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? All right, how the Most High always operates. He sends the word of the Lord to a chosen vessel. That chosen vessel, all right, is sent out to declare to the people, thus saith the Most High. All right, and the way that it's revealed, all right, when the word of the Lord is sent, when wisdom is sent and reveals this information, they're sent out to declare this. Who's going to believe it? All right, a lot of the times they asked to seek a sign, and no sign was given to him but the sign of Jonas. All right, and that's a wicked and adulterous nation, all right, which Christ was saying. No sign going to be given to it but the sign of Jonah. That's his death, his burial, his resurrection, symbolized by the baptism as well. All right, that's the sign. Now, all right, and now it changed into confirmation, which confirmation is within faith. All right, signs is for someone, hey, who doesn't believe. They're saying, show me something to make me believe. When you're asking for confirmation from God, and you can ask for that, you can pray for that, all right, you can cry out for that, all right, you can cry out to confirm your faith, all right, and God will confirm that, all right, if it be the will of the Most High, all right. So we're going to go through the scriptures to ensure that they're interpreted, translated, and taught correctly. All right, we're moving on to Sirach 1 and 6.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 6. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who had understood her great experience.
All right, so unto who has the root of wisdom been revealed? Who knows her wise counsels? All right, so who has wisdom been revealed to? And as we've been going even through this magician's lesson, right, we've seen that Balaam, the magician, understood that the children of Israel, all right, are born with wisdom. They have the opportunity to have wisdom within them. Not every child, all right, but those child who are with the Most High, they have wisdom within them, and that wisdom is different, right? That we're even a little child, what they're doing, you have to analyze because they're doing everything with understanding, all right, and able to perceive through these deceptions within the earth, through the information given, through wisdom. All right, so if your wisdom's been revealed to you, you're going to know a little more in depth on information than another individual. Not to say that you already know that information, but when you seek that information and wisdom gives it to you, she'll be giving you a more in-depth understanding. All right, so once again, we're going to go to 2 Corinthians 2 and 10.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Yeah. It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ.
All right, so for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, all right, but mighty through God. All right, so the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Right now you're seeing weapons of warfare, weapons of mass destruction flying through. All right, they just reported that one came close to the Temple Mount. All right, supposedly where the events and things took place where the temple was at. All right, not sure how positive that is, but that's what they're saying. All right, so we'll take it as that, and that weapons of warfare are flying through the Holy Land right now. All right, but those are not our weapons. All right, our weapons are not carnal. All right, these are spiritual weapons. All right, not seen by the physical eyes. All right, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. All right, so they're mighty through God and they're able to pull down strongholds. All right, these weapons can take down the enemy. These weapons can take down lands. All right, might not seem like it when you're looking at it. All right, doesn't sound like it. Just the same way as like, oh, no one wants to say, oh, they're on a track when they're rapping. Oh, I'm an angel. I'm a this. I'm an angel. They want to say I'm a beast. I'm a dog. I'm a monster. All right, they don't want to say I'm an angel. Angel sounds, but an angel is stronger than the monster, the beast, all of them. All right. So they might not look strong on God's side, but they are, and it's the devil that's made them seem like that. All right, and made his seem like they're stronger. All right, the Most High's weapons are stronger. All right, they might seem humbler, all right, but he could bring more, stronger ones in the physical too. All right, he could use, he uses laws of nature. He uses, different things to bring about punishment. We see thunder, lightning, all of that can symbolize his power. All right, you want to shoot a gun? All right, I'll shoot you with the lightning bolt. All right, so the Most High always has more power on his side. All right, his weapons are stronger. All right, casting down imaginations. What are these spiritual weapons for? What is wisdom for? What is she equipping you for? To cast down imaginations. All right, mental pictures, computations within the mind. All right, thoughts that become perceived. All right, and these mental contemplations, these computations are untrue, false, negative. All right, in contrast to the Most High's truth. All right, these imaginations exalt itself against the knowledge of God. All right. So we're here to cast down imaginations. Everything that's lifting up itself above the truth of God. All right. And bringing back into captivity that mind, bringing that mind back as prisoner to Christ and the truth and obedience to Christ and the truth. All right, so this is a huge battle we fight against, the mind. Keeping your reality real. Right, because with all the different perceptions, all the things going on, AI, everything, people are living in a false world, spreading false things right now. You don't know how much people is living in a alternative reality where events are occurring in their mind or they believe happen and they ain't even happen. All right. Right now, plethora of reports of children going to their parents like, and they're looking up videos and they're seeing AI and they're like, that's not real. And they're coming to them, oh, did you see this online? Did you know it's not real? It's not this. All right. And once you allow falsehood to live in your mind, it then spreads.
And now you go to the doctor and then they're saying that you're probably a schizophrenic.
Yeah,
schizophrenia. You need medication.
All right. And the scriptures speak about delusions too. All right. And there's plenty of people in conspiracy delusions. All right. Living in their mind, these conspiracies and believing them. Crazed out fans. All right. We just had one go and try to shoot up Rihanna's crib. Or not try, did. All right. They're spaced out when they see you. I see one where Kanye West is outside. He's like, yo, I'm the real man. I'm the one. These people, they're crazy. They're listening to the music. They're really, and when they go outside now, they're living it. All right. You might seem crazy to you, but if they see Kanye outside or mom and they know what's going on. The spirit is in them talking. All right. So we're here to cast down the faculties of the mind. All right, which form and manipulates images, these false images, all right, false deceptions, all right. You have to guard your mind, guard your reality, ensure information is true. Chew the cud. Before you allow that into your stomach, you make sure to comb through that and grind through that multiple times like the clean animals. The clean animals do not just consume something and it goes into their body and into their mind. The pig, when it does that, that's what happens. And now when it does that, poisons is seeping into its skin, into all of that stuff, because it's not chewing the cud. Don't you become the pig mentally, quickly scoffing down information and allowing it into your body, allowing it into your mind. Yes, it can come into your body, but it's going to go through the chewing of the cud, and whatever's not good, it gets spit back out, and whatever's good of the cud, it gets regurgitated, processed, and you keep that and you hold that. All right, but don't allow information quickly to be digested into your mind and become a part of you. All right, so we're going to go. All right, last week we went into Simon Magus, the magician, all what we was going through. All right, and then we ended off with Houdini and him being the modern, right, the most famous magician of all time, all right, in our modern time. And what he was dealing with, all right, with using different instruments for escapism. All right, so his thing was escapism, showing you he's able to escape through any type of scene, any type of harm, situations that you would think is impossible. He would disappear and poof out of them. All right, and then he eventually opens up a non-profit, all right, that's dealing with bringing in, it's called SAM. All right, Houdini persuaded magicians to join SAM, which was the biggest movement ever in the history of magic. All right, and this became a brotherhood. All right, sorry, it wasn't a nonprofit. They became a brotherhood where all the magicians of North America, even into Europe, started to join this club. All right, so they became a club, and I guess clubs are technically non-profits. All right, so no, it is. All right, so it was a magic brotherhood. All right, where they would explain these tricks, pass them down, and ensure that they're not revealed to the outside. All right, and Houdini ended up dying because a kid asked him if he gets hurt by punches, and he said no, and then immediately he started to punch him and ruptured his kidney. There's a rupture in his stomach. Yes, appendix, something like that. All right. Ruptured his appendix, and he ended up dying. All right. And this week we're going into just a little about how magicians and magic. All right. Because we're dealing with the different areas, how they've split this category up. All right. We've been tackling all the areas, and now we're dealing with a little of, all right, the deception side, all right, for the making of money. All right. Because if a magician could deceive you, all right, the quickest thing and easiest thing to do is to make money off the deception. All right. So we're going to go into just information. And once again, these are secrets. So it means they're not going to openly tell you the secret of, gambling, money, magicians, magic, but we're going to use 2 and 2 together. We're going to go through information, and we're going to make sense of this information. All right. The first thing is obviously, magicians outside, the 3 card tricks, they use these things to make money. All right. And if you can trick somebody, the easiest way to trick somebody is to trick somebody out of some money. All right. If anything. All right. No one just doing it for games and this and that. All right. It's to make money. All right. Either through entertainment. All right. Or through schemes. All right. So the first thing we're going to do. All right. We're at page 53. All right, and this is a PBS publication. All right, and we're just going to take a look at this insider story on card cheating and casinos.
Gambling meets magic. Australian magician offers insider's view on card cheating and casino security. A magician who once worked in casino security is doubling down on revealing the secrets behind card tricks. Australian native Harry Miles brings the unfair advantage to Steppenwolf's Merle Reskin Garage Theater for an audience of just 35 people per show. And there's a catch. Everyone must sign a confidentiality contract before the show. WTTW News spoke with the sleight of hand specialist about the tricks of his trade and why the need for non-disclosure agreements. WTT News, so what's with the NDAs? Harry Miles, we go into pretty explicit detail about how to cheat at cards, and it allows me to be quite candid about all these different techniques, how they work, and what they really look like. So before you watch the show, yes, you have to sign a contract.
All right, we'll start real there. All right, so we're seeing here, all right, this is a story about a magician who once worked in a casino, all right, and is doubling down on revealing the secrets behind card tricks. All right, and it's Australian native Harry Miles, all right, brings an unfair advantage, all right, just to show theater for an audience of just 35 people per show. And here's the catch: everyone must sign a confidentiality contract before the show, all right. So once again, going back into Houdini and what he was trying to do, he was trying to set up a brotherhood and ensure that this brotherhood stays tight-knit and they keep the information and the books and the records within them, and they're able to have a brotherhood of support of magicians, all right, to join. All right, so a lot of information, like I told you, that's in these realms, they want NDAs signed because these are secrets, all right? Secrets have to be kept. All right, so even for these shows, they say, hey, you're going to come into the show, you got to sign NDA before the show. All right. All right, it says WTT News spoke with the sleight of hand specialist about tricks of his trade and why the need for non-disclosure. All right. So he says, why do you need non-disclosures to go into just a show about what he's revealing? He says they go into pretty explicit detail about how to cheat at cards. And it allows him to be quite candid about these different techniques. So he wants to be very open and clear about these techniques, all right, with his audience and not have to worry about, yo, they're going to share this, they could do this with this. He wants them to sign these NDAs where it stays in-house. All right. And when you're looking at the entertainment world, business world, this is used all over. We're living, if you're in the public and you're not in those societies, you don't even really know what's going on because half of what's going on is signed and concealed in NDAs. All right. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who songs who. You thinking this person's this. And this is what I'm telling you about your reality and your perception. You're like, oh, that person's song was good. They wrote it. They didn't even write the song. It was wrapped up in an NDA as someone who wrote the song, gave the song to the person. Person has a good song. He heard the song. It's like, yo, I can use that song. And now you believe the song belonged to the person. All right. That information can't be revealed because now that person, they won't get their money. So they're like, I can't reveal I gave the song to the person, and they're gonna watch that person get all the fame, everything. And people like that also, there's a mental thing that starts to happen to them. All right, because they're like, yo, they feel like, yo, I should make it. I should be the one. Yeah, because they're like, this person taking my stuff, and I'm the one that's really the good one. And people don't like me. If you knew it, it was really me. All right, this is why people try to sneak songs in. There's the YouTube time. Soulja Boy is the one that was put in, oh, it's 50 Cent song, it's Aaliyah song. And they always, oh, boy, tell them, hey. Because they're like, if you just hear my song 1 second, all right, and think it's somebody else's or thinking you're going to listen to someone else, you hear mine for a second, what would you say then?
So this is kind of segueing into a lot of like, this is like, you know, when you go to secret societies, all those oaths are just contracts.
Yes, yes. Yeah, all of them are contracts, NDAs signed. All right, so a lot of secret societies you won't know.
Well, that's why they kill a lot of people when they go if they ever release it. It's more high stakes.
All right, so here going into pretty explicit details behind these NDAs. All right, the different techniques, how they work, and what they really look like. All right, so he's saying before you watch the show, yes, NDAs. All right, so continue for us.
It says, describe the unfair advantage. Miles, it's a close-up magic show about the gambling world and the magic world. I got my start learning gambling moves, cheating moves, and transitioned from that into being a magician. I've learned over the years how you can be cheated and swindled. This show is a cautionary tale about how easy it is to be fooled. Everything I do in the show is with the standard deck of cards that someone in the audience keeps at the end. I love being able to do something magical with an ordinary object. It's like making 2 + 2 = 5.
All right. So he's showing him, right? It's a close-up magic show about the gambling world and the magic world. All right. The gambling world and the magic world, they're interconnected. Understand that. The gambling world and the magic world, they're interconnected as much as you might not think so. All right. They are interconnected, and it's very easy for them to intertwine with each other, which is why they need heavy regulations on it, because the whole setup of it is for a magician. Magicians set this whole thing up. All right, we're gonna see. All right. So continue for us.
You've been hired by casinos to work security. What did that job entail? Miles, they'd show me video footage and say, we're concerned about this. Has there been a read deck or false dealing or false shuffling? But the majority of the work I did was in high stakes private games, and I would literally stand in the room and watch people play cards. It was me and a guy who was twice my size. We were the brains and the brawn, so to speak. Now you focus on magic and performance instead of the gaming world. Miles, the truth is casinos are pretty depressing. There's a weird carpet that's confusing to the eye. There's no clocks or windows. There's cocktails with 3 shots of vodka in them. In Vegas, I'll see people get off the plane, go to the first slot machine they see at the airport and sit there for hours. For my money, that speaks to something that should probably be addressed. Do you gamble? Miles, the last time I laid a bet, I was 18 years old. I can't really say how good I'd be at this point. I do count cards, so I feel like I could do well in blackjack. if I was so inclined. But the truth is, there was a fork in the road for me when I could either continue doing that or do shows like this. I'd much rather be doing this. Have you had any pushback from magicians or card sharps who aren't happy that their methods are being revealed? Milas, I have yet to receive that kind of feedback. The distinction that's made is that the gambling secrets are secrets that are kept from you, and magic secrets are kept for you, in the sense that a gambling secret is an interesting thing to discuss. How to stack a deck so someone gets a royal flush, for example. But a magic secret is often disappointing. It's like, really? That's all? There's never been a secret to a magic trick that's more interesting than the effect the trick produces.
All right. All right, so he says, you've been hired by casinos to work security. What did that job entail? So the first thing you need to understand is that because gambling and magic are so interconnected, that they actually hire magicians to work and head security. All right, you're like, why do you need a magician to work and head security? All right, because the magician is the one with the keen eye. We just went into wisdom. All right. The magician is the one with the keen eye, knowing that there's this secret realm, all right, further than NDAs, that people operate and practice these skills. All right. And with the card games and with cards, it's very easy for a professional, very skilled and trained, to go and deceive many.
So you're saying that usually with the head of a security guy in the casino is a magician?
They won't tell you this.
They have not good knowledge.
Right? This is somebody who's revealing secrets, revealing magic. He's telling you, I work security at a casino. Why is he working security at casino? To figure out show them different methods of cheating at the gambling. All right? Because the number one thing that they're going to use.
No, I mean, that makes sense. Right? Especially for a place like that, there would have to be somebody knowledgeable, because they're not just looking for a disgruntled drunk person. They're looking for, they have to know what they're looking for.
All right, so they use sleight of hand. All right. The etymology sleight of hand for us. Sleight.
Slate, okay.
All right, so they use sleight of hand. And that's what we've been going through. They use sleight of hand, and cards are made for that.
Just slate or the actual whole term? Just slate?
No, just sleight.
Okay. All right. This is etymology of the word sleight, or I believe sleeth, or sleeth, or sleeth. An early 14th century alteration of sleeth, wisdom, prudence, also cleverness, cunning. From the 1200s, from Old Norse, slogo, cleverness, cunning, slyness, from sloger, see sly. The meaning, feat or trick requiring quickness and nimbleness of the hands, is from 1590s. The term sleight of hand for the tricks of a juggler is attested from the 1400s, related to slathy.
All right, so sleight of hand. First of all, sleight is wisdom. So they're using wisdom of hand. They got wisdom in the hands. All right, they're using prudence, wisdom, prudence, cleverness, cunningness of the hand, slyness of the hand, a feat or a trick requiring quickness, nimbleness of the hands. All right, and it's also called legerdemain.
I think it's at the bottom, yeah.
Oh,
It was the same thing. Yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm.
This is legerdemain, a noun from the early 15th century. Legerdemain. Conjuring tricks, sleight of hand, from Old French ledger de main, quick of hand. Literally light of hand. Ledger, light in weight. Old French legier, 12th century, is from Latin levis or levis, light. From pi root, leg, not heavy, having little weight. It is cognate with Spanish ligero, Italian leggero, light, nimble. Hence, also ledger line or ledger line in music. Main, hand, is from Latin manus, from pi root man, hand.
All right, so legerdemain, all right, conjuring tricks, sleight of hand, all right, light of hand, all right, quick quick hand. All right, you ever had one of them games where you get the thing sleight of hand? That means load quick. Call of Duty, he gone. All right, so they're able to do this. All right, and in contrast to before, so there's two different types. All right, so when we go to the Bible, and we're gonna have a whole lesson on casting. When you go to the Bible, when you have casting lots and things, you're taking sticks and you're pulling them. All right, or you're taking dice and you're shooting them. It's very hard to use sleight of hand in those situations unless you already before shooting the dice, they're already crap dice. All right, yeah, it's going, loaded dice. All right, it's gonna be hard for you to sleight of hand that unless you go into your pocket where everyone's done and you switch out the dice while the game's going. But usually when the game's going, everyone's eyes looking at the dice, so that's gonna be hard to use sleight of hand. All right, so the more chances or the more things you have, all right, like cards, 52 decks is the more chances you have to use sleight of hand. All right, in contrast to 3 dice, 2 dice, and you're shooting numbers, things of that nature. All right, and with casting of the lots, the whole point of it is to give the power to God, meaning that whatever the results are, God is in there. But if a person is trying to intertwine those odds, all right, and they're the one controlling the result, they're basically taking away God's power out of the casting of lot if you're able to control the decision or the card or the whatever it is from being picked. All right, so that's the whole point of this. All right, where they're casting lots of that. All right, we're giving it to God, his full control. Let's see what the results is. Let's see who will be blessed. Let's see who this money in the power will be. All right, and there's always somebody there, once again, the magician who would like to sleight of hand this situation and control the outcome. All right, and they use this. This is why when you go to somebody and they're using, even if you go to a person who's reading the tarot cards, they could be sleight of hand and give you whatever card that they're like, you know what, today, this is going to make the money. If I give you a simple card like, yo, peace and tranquility, you ain't going to spend no money with They're like, yo, something's going on. Yeah, your family hated you from you being born. Right? They use, this is what they start to do. All right, so all right, going back. All right, so he says he showed him the footage, all right, and there has been a redeck, false dealing, false shuffling, right? Majority of the work he did was in high-stake private games, and he would literally stand in the room and watch people play cards. All right, it was him and a guy who was twice his size. All right, they were the brains and bronze, so to speak. So once again, the magician is the brains. All right, the security is the bronze, but the security ain't gonna know when a trick being played, which is why you need a magician in the room who knows sleight of hand. Security is not gonna know that. Security can't know that. So you're gonna see why, if the casinos want to ensure people aren't tricking people, their security team is gonna be headed by someone with that information who could tell them, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's going on.
Yeah, this reminds me of, there was a guy who was banned from Las Vegas. I don't know if you guys, Mickey Mace. So he basically went there and apparently he learned all the tricks and stuff, and he won like big 10 million, 11 million within 3 months, and they banned him from Las Vegas apparently. I don't know if you guys heard Mickey Mace.
I think I probably heard this. I probably have to see him.
Yeah.
You ready to go to something about it?
Oh yeah, no, just remembering. He just
Okay.
came to mind because yeah, apparently he learned the tricks and whatnot with the hands he used to look for like different systems within the deck of cards. He will pay attention to the deck of cards and stuff when they're playing blackjack and things of that nature. And apparently, yeah, he won because he studied what the casinos were doing. And he was eventually banned apparently from Las Vegas, a lot of the casinos.
What they'll do if you go on card count there, because they'll watch you, right? Obviously, there's people that's in the foot here, but there's people watching above.
Yeah.
And if they notice that you're doing small bets, then all of a sudden you're putting in a bigger bet, and then you win, they'll start monitoring you more. But then they'll politely come to you and give you a little tap, and basically it's a back off, like stop doing it. And eventually, if you don't, they'll kick you out.
Yeah.
Mickey Mace, that's the name. Yeah, Mickey Mace. Yeah.
So he said the last time, all right, so he doesn't bet either, all right. So he says he's yet to receive any backlash, keeping this stuff away from people. And once again, he said the distinction made is that gambling secrets are secrets that are kept from you. So gambling secrets are the secrets that are kept from people. All right, magic secrets are kept for you. All right, so the gambling secrets are kept from you. All right, they're all kept for you. They're all put away for you. But it's the difference of, all right, the gambling one's kept from you. That's the money maker. All right, magic tricks, secrets, all right, they're kept for you. All right, we keep them for you because they're gonna perform them for you. All right, and once again, they're saying that, hey, the revealing of a magic trick, no one's ever like, oh my God, babe. They're more so it goes down after revealing the trick. Whereas the gambling one, that's the one where it's like, if you reveal that one, all right, people is amazed after the whole, whoa, that's how I got ripped off. All right, so continuing.
Brother said Mickey preached the key. Mickey, he's a Jewish.
He said, he said, all right, so let me see. He said, you know, yeah, I know Mickey. He is Jewish. He said he had got a number. He got good with the numbers at casinos, like knowing the odds, the deck counts, etc. I think he only played primarily games and roulettes. All right, he primarily played card games and Russian roulette type games. Okay, yeah, Mickey. All right, so the same guy. Someone saying they're familiar with him in the chat. Yeah, so these individuals, all right, a lot of this stuff people know or heard these stories before. All right. So we'll continue.
Page 55.
No, it's not. Sorry. 1 second. Page it up. Oh, there it is. All right. All right. So we're at page 55.
Is there a downside to your profession? Milas. People ask me, do your friends trust you? And that kind of thing. I love to play cards, not gambling, but games like bridge and gin rummy. And that's tricky. If I'm playing with people who know me and I win, they say, oh well, he's cheating. But if I lose, they say, why didn't you cheat? It's a bit of a curse either way. Are you aware that there's a bit of a magic revival happening in Chicago right now, with places like the Rhapsody Theater and the Magic Lounge? Yes, Chicago to me is the magic city of America. It has the best lineage of magicians, and this is also the home of Eugene Berger, the Chicago magician and mentor who died in 2017. Berger is my all-time favorite. It feels special to be in the city where he operated. I'm carrying him in my heart as I work here. Any parting words on the power of magic? Milas. Magic to me is not just one thing. It's kind of a Venn diagram of a lot of things that cross over. And in that world, there's con games, physics, gambling, psychology. All of these different things come together to create magic, whatever it is.
All right. So even here, at the end, they're telling you that the magic world, all right, is a crossover of a lot of things. All right. In that world, there's con games, all right, psychics, gambling, psychology, all of these different, he's not even named, he don't even know the fullness of it. We just went into, right, the art of making swords, right, clouds, everything that was revealed by the fallen one. So when they come to look at it, they're like, wow, magic really encompasses everything, right? Because, yeah, a lot of the arts, all the arts that were shown by the fallen angels, all of that is in the realm of magic, all right? What people know as magic today has been watered down to just a trick and entertainment. All right, so this is the individual just revealing, all right, what they've done prior. All right, so now we're gonna go into somebody who kind of revolutionized magic trick. And it's important to know these things or these individuals. All right. So this is Robert Houdin. All right. And actually, before we go to him, let me. Actually, you know what? We'll read about him first. All right. So we'll go through some of the info.
Memoirs of Robert Houdin, ambassador, author, and conjurer, written by himself. These performances of Comte's, however, inflamed my imagination. I only dreamed of theaters, conjuring, mechanisms, automata, and etc.
All right. So the first thing is that this individual here, all right, this is Memoirs of Robert Houdin. We're going to get into exactly who he is. All right. So he's an ambassador, he's an author, and he's a conjurer. All right. When he was looking into his stuff, all right, he was inflamed in his imagination. He dreamed of theaters, conjuring, mechanism, and automata. All right. So what the difference between this magician is, he wanted to leave away from mysticism and using spirits and stuff like that. And he now wanted to be like, you know what? I want to do magic trick with mechanism and automata, meaning automation. All right. He wants to use machines to do tricks. All right. So this is the difference now. So now we're learning, all right, there's magic trick. People do it with hands, all of that, sleight of hand. This individual don't want to do that no more. He doesn't want a mysticism. Did you use a spirit? Did you use a card trick? He dreams of conjuring, mechanism, and automata. All right, that's what he deals with. All right, continue for us.
I passed many years of my life in making pieces of mechanism which would render my illusions more remarkable.
All right, so once again, these are all excerpt quotes out of the full book memoir. All right, so he passed many years of his life in making pieces of mechanism which should render his illusions more remarkable. So this individual, what he was basically, he could make inventions, all right? Physical inventions, mechanism, electronics. These electronics now would be a part of the illusion, all right? That's what he wants to use. He doesn't want to use spirits and things like that. He wants to now move it into electronics and automata, all right? These things.
Sounds like he's the forefather of props.
What do you mean props?
Well, movies need props. You need different props, like magical props. The box that they put the person in would be called a prop.
Okay, different things that could do, all right, different scenes and stuff like that.
Maybe
Okay.
the etymology of the word prop, maybe see what that is.
We'll do that. Well, let's see what prop. Let's see, prop. Prop. It says a support or rigid thing used to sustain an incumbent weight. So it's a support. They just have it as something to support. Well, basically, that's what it is, because he's saying he wants to create things for the illusion, which those are support for the thing, so they're props, different props, right? Some props you're like, all right, it's just simple. Some is like, whoa, what is that? All right, so yeah, it's a type of prop. You could say that. All right. So continuing.
Finally, I wish to offer new experiments divested of all charlatanism and possessing no other resources than those offered by skillful manipulation and the influence of illusions. This was, it will be seen, a complete regeneration in the art of conjuring. My only fear was whether the public would accept these important reforms and such elegant simplicity. It is true, Antonio, the usual confidant of my plans and thoughts strongly encouraged me.
All right, so we're seeing here, he said, finally, he wished to offer new experiments divested of all charlatanism. All right, give us that, the definition right under there.
Charlatanism is the fraudulent practice of feigning expertise, skills, or knowledge, often in medicine or finance, to deceive and exploit others for financial gain. It is characterized by dishonesty, imposture, and the use of quackery, where individuals, charlatans, promise impossible results such as a fake cures or guaranteed high return investments. It was by these mechanical contrivances that I first learned the power of mechanism over the mind.
All right. So once again, all right, the charlatanism. So he wanted to rid his stuff, divest his new experience of charlatanism, which is the fraudulent practice of expertise and skill of knowledge. All right. Meaning he didn't want to use deceptive things. All right. And spirits and things like that. So he wanted now to just use mechanisms, electronics, these things to bring about and amaze people by that. All right. And it was by these mechanical contrivances that he first learned the power of mechanism over the mind. So he learned the power of mechanism over the mind. All right. And just once again, go into that.
What did you just say? Powers of
Mechanism. All right, you go to the etymology.
Mechanism? All right. That's mechanism. Noun from the 1660s. The structure of a machine, engine, or other contrivance for controlling or utilizing natural forces. From modern Latin, mechanismus. From Greek, mechane. Machine, instrument, device. See machine. Sense of mechanical contrivance or agency of any kind. From the 1670s.
All right. So mechanism, once again, the structure of a machine, engine, or other, all right, contrivance, all right, for controlling, utilizing natural forces. All right, so it's a machine, mechanism, machine, instrument, device. All right, so he was making devices, all right, that would now complete these things. All right, these conjuring tricks. All right, that's what this individual was practicing. All right, so he wanted his new experiments to be purely mechanical and scientific without relying on fake mystical powers or deception of the charlatan type. All right, and once again, this individual, all right, who is, all right, so just going again, just to share with everybody real quick what he did. You want to go too much into, but all right, so Eugene Robert Houdin, all right. What he was pioneering, or you don't bring it up on that page right there. Just type in his name, Robert Houdin. Yeah, it'll pop up. Or invention. Just put Robert Houdin invention. Yeah, just read what it's
This one here?
No, just read this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what I put there. All right, so
Eugene Robert Houdin was a pioneering French magician, inventor, and horologist whose innovations laid the foundation for modern magic and technology. His most notable inventions include the mystery clock, the orange tree trick. Remember to just read all these, or
yeah, read all of it.
the mystery clock, a revolutionary timepiece with no visible mechanisms, where the hand appeared to move independently. This invention, often referred to a mystery clock, became one of his most iconic and collectible creations. The orange tree trick, an illusion in which a barren orange tree rapidly blossoms and bears fruit before the audience's eyes, showcasing his mastery of mechanical illusion. The writing and drawing automation, a lifelike android that responded to the audience questions with drawings or written phrases, considered a groundbreaking feat in early robotics and automation. Electricity and mechanized illusions. Robert Houdin was among the first magicians to incorporate electricity into performances. He used electromagnetism in tricks like the light and heavy chest, where a box felt impossible, heavy to adults but light to children. Innovative devices, he patented several practical inventions, including the alarm clock lighter in 1837, the odometer, electronic fencing lames, and medical tools like the pupillometer and iridoscope. The domotic innovations at his home in Le Pierre, He installed early versions of the smart home technology, including electric lighting using vegetable filament bulbs as early as 1863, automated doors, and early systems.
Alarm system.
Oh, it's not. And alarm systems, yeah.
All right. All right. So once again, they're saying his work bridged science, mechanics, and illusions, earning him the title Father of Modern Magic. All right. This is the father of, if you never heard of him, you heard of the other Houdini. All right. You heard of Houdini, but you never heard of Houdini. All right.
I don't know why he chose the name.
I don't know if it shows. It looks like he's married or something, or his father, he has two names in one. All right.
Modern magic, you said, father?
Yes, father of modern magic. All right. He is the father of modern magic. And why did we go to this? Because I'm showing you that he's a magician. You're thinking magician just does. He has how much the odometer is his invention. How much different stuff did this man invent? All right.
So it makes you think about Leonardo da Vinci. He must have been one too.
All right. These people can invent. This is what we're understanding. They have information, knowledge, all of this.
Where are they getting it from?
They're saying he's using automated doors in the house before people are thinking about that, right? So
half the time they're doing rituals, conjuring these things because they were conjurers. Then they're conjurers. They get information and they're becoming inventing it with the blueprint they're getting from the demonic force.
yeah, the demonic force or just with their own inspiration, right? Yeah, whatever things, but they're using whatever in their realm to do that. So when we're looking at something simple like the phone or this, or hey, can I put the image of your face on the screen and you're not, like, that's the stuff he would be thinking about because he wants to wow you with automation and electronics and mechanisms instead of the ghosts, goblins. You get what I'm saying?
Kind of reminds you of Wizard of Oz. The
Yeah.
good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he probably represent too.
All right, so this individual, once again, was dealing with electronics. So you might not think magic is electronics and mechanisms and devices. It's that. That's what we were showing. All right, so if they're doing that now, once again, all right, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to that in the next part. All right, I'm not gonna roll it. All right, so we're gonna go continue. All right, so we're at the Magic Hub, and this is gonna continue about this same individual. All right, information.
Magic Hub. Gambling sleight of hand. A comprehensive reference covering the techniques, history, and culture of card table artifice. From false deals and rifle stacking to hand mucking and cooler switches. These moves represent the highest level of card handling ever developed, and their study is essential for any serious card worker.
All right, so gambling sleight of hand, a comprehensive reference covering the techniques, history, culture of card table artifice, false dealings, riffle stacking, hand mucking, cooler switches. These moves represent the highest level of card handling skill ever developed. Their study is essential for any serious card worker. All right, someone put in the chat, all right, about sports prop betting. So that's good because, yeah, the prop betting is usually, they're using the individual as the illusion as the thing. And that individual, you're betting on them and out of nowhere, you're like, oh, he always going to, and then out of nowhere, he doesn't hit. All right, so they do these things, all right? And once again, somebody said many people who bet on sports exclusively do prop bets. All right, so yeah, all right, which I'm guessing prop bet is like they're using individual, right? What is a prop bet exactly?
Yeah.
You're betting on an individual?
To do something or
To do
just
something.
random things within the game.
Yeah, so you're like, that person now is the instrument or the device or whatever that's gonna wow the individual. All right. But yes, let's continue.
Note on ethics. This page exists for study, appreciation, and magic performance. Magicians study gambling technique to understand deception at its highest level, not to cheat at cards. The skills documented here represent decades, often lifetimes of dedicated practice by artists who perform these moves as entertainment, education, and as a contribution to the craft of sleight of hand. It says the serious study of a card table artifice gives magicians a deeper understanding of angles, timing, naturalness, and the psychology of deception. Many of the greatest card magicians in history Vernon, Marlowe, Darwin Ortiz were deeply versed in gambling techniques because it sharpened every other aspect of their card work. Professional gambling consultants like Steve Fort study and demonstrate these techniques specifically to help casinos protect their games. Richard Turner, widely regarded as the greatest living card mechanic, has never gambled. He's a performing artist who has dedicated his life to the pursuit of perfection at the card table.
All right. So once again, they're showing you that this page or this thing is for magicians to study gambling technique, understand deception at its highest level. All right. Not to cheat at cards. The skills documented here are to represent decades of dedicated practice by artists who perform these moves as entertainment and education. So they're like, yo, we just keep these moves for entertainment, education, not for deception. All right. As a contribution to the craft of the sleight of hand. All right. Serious study of card table artifice gives magicians a deeper understanding of angles, timing, naturalness, and the psychology of deception. So they're telling you that magicians study card game because this is where they sharpen their mind at, their deceptive skills at. All right. Many of the greatest card magicians in history, they're saying, are deeply versed in gambling technique because it sharpened every other aspect of their card work. All right. It says professional gambling consultants like Steve Forte study and demonstrate these techniques specifically to help casinos protect their games. So casinos, once again, like I told you, they have a lot of magicians, different people in those areas up in there to help protect what they say is the integrity of their game. All right. Or to protect their money and their profit. All right. But continue for us.
History and culture. Card cheating is as old as card games themselves. By the 16th century, European literature already referenced card sharps who could manipulate the deal. The term card sharp, often corrupted to card shark, originally referred to a skilled cheat, and the techniques these individuals developed form the foundation of modern sleight of hand. The golden age of American card cheating ran from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s, coinciding with the era of riverboat gambling on the Mississippi. Professional card mechanics traveled the riverboat circus, plying their craft in high-stake poker games where fortunes changed hands nightly. These itinerant cheats developed a refined techniques in the crucible of real-world play, where detection meant not just embarrassment, but potentially lethal consequences. The publication of S.W. Erdnasi's The Expert at the Card Table in 1902 was a watershed moment. For the first time, the closely guarded techniques of the card sharp were documented in detail and made available to the public. The book became the Bible of card techniques for both cheats and magicians, and its influence continues undiminished more than a century later. Through the 20th century, gambling technique evolved from a secretive underground practice into a recognized discipline within the magic community. Figures like Vernon sought out card cheats to learn their methods. Ed Marlowe published extensively on gambling moves. By the late 20th century, Steve Forte was producing educational materials for casino security, and gambling demonstrations had become a respected performance genre in close-up magic.
All right. So once again, card cheating is as old as card games themselves. So they're telling you, card cheating and card games, they go hand in hand. All right. They old as the games themselves. All right. The European literature already referenced card sharps who could manipulate the deal. The term card sharp, all right, often corrupted card shark, all right, originally referred to a skilled cheat. All right, so a card sharp or a card shark referred to a skilled cheat, and the techniques these individuals develop form the foundation of modern sleight of hand. So once again, we're telling you that whoever invented the card games, they just wanted to widen the chances for cheating. All right, this is what you do when you have more options, more able to get into between God and the result. All right. by making it longer, more, 52, all of these things where now the person's hand could intertwine or step in between God controlling, right, what they will call the fortune. All right. Says the golden age of American card cheating ran from the mid 1800s through the 1900s, coinciding with the era of riverboat gambling on Mississippi. Professional card mechanics revealed a riverboat circuit. All right. These inherent cheats developed and refined techniques, all right, in crucible of the real world play. All right. So these people developed and refined techniques. All right, where detection meant not just embarrassment, but potentially lethal consequences. All right, because these are the types of cheating that they were doing. All right, the publication of S.W. Arnazes, the expert at the card table. All right, this is basically the Bible. All right, it became the Bible of the card technique for both cheats and magicians. So if cheats and magicians, if they're dealing with cards or whatever, this is their Bible, which is called the expert at the card table. That's the Bible that they're gonna read, all right, to know the in-depths. Since through the 20th century, gambling technique evolved from a secretive underground practice into recognized discipline within the magic community. All right, so gambling techniques evolved from secretive underground practices into recognized discipline within the magic community, right? Where people now know these things are within there. It's no longer secret. All right, so it's no longer secret. All right. By the late 20th century, Steve Forte was producing educational materials for casino security. So you're going to keep hearing magicians and casino security. Magicians, casino security. Why? To make sure to watch for the casino that's doing this. Now I'm going to ask you this. We just went into that machines can also be a part of the illusions. The casino, how much machines are in there?
The slot machines?
All right, who made it? Why is it there? Can it do something? If you can't see, so once again, before you're looking at sleight of hand here, if you hide sleight of hand in the machine now, what can you do now? All right, the machine doing whatever. You don't know what's going on. Before you that, all right, watch the person hand. Now you on the outside.
Before the machine was actually more analog because it was actually like
Yes.
mechanisms moving. Now everything's digitized, so it's just a screen showing that.
Yeah, now it's even worse when you're talking about now, what are those new stake.com, all of these ones where they're now bringing you on there. And it's not even a mechanism or nothing. It's a digital algorithm, something. You can't even see, it's not even nothing like that. So they can completely control the narratives, which is why it's important where we're showing what this stuff is, and that these areas are filled with deceivers, magicians, tricksters who are here to swindle your money. All right, this is why when you have things like the crypto and all of this stuff, they're going to fill those areas, right? They're going to understand the game. They're going to come out with their own stuff, and they're going to swindle you, deceptive practices, right? Rug pulls, everything, right? While showing you deceptions, fake websites, all of this stuff. All right, Ponzi schemes.
What it's even a bit worse now is like a mirage.
Well, what a lot of them will do is that even with the machine, they'll probably allow you to get some wins, right? To sweeten you up a little bit. And then when the time comes now,
Here's
they're
pull.
gonna clean you out, or the rug pull where they might allow you to take out some money thinking that everything is legit, and then everything lock up
You say God.
or clean you out, whichever one.
All right. So we're going to continue. All right, we're going to get into that. All right, we're at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, so we're going to go into just what a Ponzi scheme is.
All right. A Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. Ponzi scheme organizers often promise to invest your money and generate high returns with little or no risk. But in many Ponzi schemes, the fraudsters do not invest the money. Instead, they use it to pay those who invested earlier and may keep some for themselves.
All right, now if we're just going through this, all right, it says a Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. All right, the first thing about gambling, you're really an investor, but they're not going to call you investor, you're a gambler. All right, but they're looking at you as an investor. All right, because you want to invest your money somewhere to make something. That's investing, all right? But you know it as gambling because of the risk that's involved. So they don't put it as investing. They just call it as gambling now, all right? But it is investing because you really want to put this money into something to win something. You want a return. If you want a return, that's investing. I think that's obvious. Am I wrong? Am I right? What am I? If you want a return, that's investing?
If you want a return,
Yeah.
it depends on what it is, I think.
If you want a return on the funds that you have, I think that's investing.
Then if you want a return, then yeah.
Yeah. If you say you want to lose it, then I'll be like, you don't want to invest it. If you want to keep the same amount or lose, then that's not investing. If you want a return, that's investing.
If it's your intention to get back,
Yeah.
then yeah.
And because we go through the percentages. A lot of people, when they're putting in money, it could be 4%, 5%. There's not a lot of percentage on return, but something returning, which means you investing. All right. So not all the time you're going to double, make 100%. A lot of stuff is small, 5%, 3%, little percentages. All right.
And those percentages are pretty high, what you're saying.
Yeah. When you did it with big money. Yeah. If you're talking about big money. All right. So once again, if you're coming now and you're investing that money to somebody else, and once again, they're running a gambling enterprise, right? Meaning that people are going to come and give them money. How much people give them money? So even the lottery, how much people give them money? And then they got to give, once again, it's a return. They've now watered this before in investing. Everyone would have to get a return. But in this, you already told them, all right, strip investor off of you. You're a gambler, all right? And only a couple people going to get a return now. And now they're able to keep that money that's coming in, and they're not promising no returns for anybody else. So it's technically it's a legal Ponzi scheme, because guess what? They're never gonna allow more returns than what they're getting, or else the casino gonna go bankrupt. All right, so just showing you just a little of that. All right, of generalization of what that means. All right, that the Ponzi scheme is an investment. We're just looking at the term Ponzi scheme, and we're now relating it. We're just understanding what it means. It's an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. All right, when someone's gambling, I don't think those gambling people are putting any of their own money up in the funds. All right. All right, they get money, people to buy in who already paying, and they paying out people with that exact same money. All right, it's just a legal way of doing it. All right, so it says Ponzi scheme organizers often promise to invest your money and generate high returns with little to no risk. All right, that's why they say it's a Ponzi, because they're telling you there's no risk. Gambling, because they turned you from an investor, which you are investing because you're expecting a return, because they put now gambler on you, you know that there's high risk. So you cannot sue them and this and stuff now. Because they're like, yo, did you gamble? No, yeah, there's no, bro, you went and gambled. You're not investing, even though technically it's investing.
So basically,
because any investment you do is a gamble. So we're seeing what they're doing with this game. Any investment you do is a gamble, because it's not a for sure return. And if it's a for sure return, then that investment is going to be, the percentage on that's going to be very small, because you know for sure. And this is all in law and nature principle to the kingdom of God and faith. Because if you know for sure, then the prize is not going to be as big. That's why God is operating in faith. What's the prize? Eternal life. You cannot see that. You cannot see the things evidence for that, because there's a big payout. What's the payout? Life forever.
It's mimicking it. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's affected the whole earth, and it's extreme selfishness disguised as sharing, which is what heaven is about, sharing. Mm-hmm. It's about everybody.
But people are greedy. They want the wealth, even though they know everyone can't think. They're like, yo, maybe I'll be the one individual that's going to get it.
You'll make money and you'll make money. But mainly the people head up are just being selfish, getting all this stuff, and then when they're ready, they can just be, okay, I had enough, and just pull out everybody else. Mm-hmm. You know, and the Most High would never do that unless you're not doing what you're
Well, he would cast lots. So they do cast lots, right? And lots is fortune. So people do get fortunes, right? Someone's bigger than some, right? When you're dealing with the Levite or the children of Israel, when they're splitting the lands, all of that. Some people are getting smaller portions than the other, right? And that's all determined on the casting of the lot, which the Most High is determining the fortune. So it's not bad to get fortune. It's just how it's being operated and the deception behind it.
Yeah, the disciples cast lots once Judas was gone.
Right. Right. So continue. So
yeah, because remember, they replaced Judas.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So they had to replace Judas. They cast lots. They cast lots for Christ's clothes as well. All right. So they gamble that for that, who's going to have it. All right. So in many Ponzi schemes, the fraudsters do not invest money. So the number one thing is that they don't really invest money. People put in money and then they pay people out with the money, investors' money. All right. So they never pay out money on their own. They pay with people who are putting in money. All right. Instead, they use it to pay those who invested earlier and to keep some for themselves. All right. So gambling is legal Ponzi scheme. It's not a Ponzi scheme because they didn't tell you there's little to no risk. In fact, they labeled the whole thing gambling, where you know what. Let's look at that etymology of gambling. All right.
It's the etymology of gambling to now.
Gamble.
Oh, gamble.
Yeah,
Okay.
gamble.
All right. Gamble. The etymology of gamble is a verb. Risk something of value on a game of chance. From 1726, implied in gambling. From a dialectical survival in Middle English, gamlin, variant of gaminin, to play, jest, be merry. From Old English, gaminien, to play, joke, pun. From gamin, see game, with its form as in fumble, etc., or possibly gamble is from a derivative of gamel, to play games, from the 1590s. Itself likely a frequentative of or from game. Originally regarded as a slang word, the unetymological may be from confusion with unrelated gamble. Transitive, meaning to squander in gambling. It is from 1808, related to gambled or gambling.
All right, so they're like, it's games. All right, gamble, go back to games. All right, risky games. All right, that's what you played. All right, you play risky games.
And they make sure that children can't play it like that legally.
Yeah. All right, so continuing. All right, we're just going to get into a couple examples once again of individuals who are, all right, known as magicians going and doing certain things. All right, so just getting a couple examples out of here. There's many examples, but we just want to get 2 examples.
This is from Nail and Guardian. Small-town magicians siphon $600 million through Ponzi scheme. Of the people scammed, nearly 50,000 were from his home state of North Carolina. Many were recruited by friends and family in Lexington, a once thriving furniture and textile town where neighbors look out for each other. But what investors didn't know was that regulators had received nearly a dozen complaints about Zeke rewards and the related site Zeekler.com, but failed to take action for months, leaving the company free to recruit tens of thousands of new victims. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which closed the Operation August 17, said Burks was selling securities without a license. He allegedly operated a Ponzi scheme that was using money from new investors to pay the earlier ones. Burke has agreed to pay $4 million penalty and cooperate with a federal court-appointed receiver trying to recover hundreds of millions of dollars. Investigators say Burks, a former nursing home magician, siphoned millions for his personal use, but he has not been charged.
All right. All right, so a small-town magician siphons $600 million through Ponzi scheme. All right, so magician using the Ponzi scheme. All right, and once again, obviously, you're gonna see magicians use because it's right with their practice. It goes hand in hand with them. All right, so you're gonna see them. All right, he just started off. All right, doing all right nursing home. All right, from nursing home, he's like, yo, forget nursing. I'm trying to go to the big money. All right, and he starts doing Ponzi schemes, selling securities, and doing Ponzi schemes. All right, we're gonna continue.
This is from USA Today from December 17, 2024. New York tax preparer, the magician, pleads guilty to filing thousands of false reports. False reports. Federal officials announced Tuesday that a New York tax preparer known as the magician pleaded guilty to filing tens of thousands of false tax returns, which officials say he has cost the government $145 million in lost tax payments. In a press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, Rafael Alvarez is said to have committed one of the largest ever tax frauds by a return preparer.
All right. So this individual, Rafael, all right, Alvarez, all right, said to have committed one of the largest tax frauds ever by a return preparer. All right, and they've dubbed him, all right, he's called the magician. So that was his name. That's why everyone called him the magician. All right, continue.
Prosecutors say the scheme ran by Alvarez consisted of false information that was designed to fraudulently reduce people's tax burden. Rafael Alvarez became known as the magician by his customers for his supposed ability to make their tax burden disappear. But as today's guilty plea shows, there was no magic to what Alvarez was doing. Acting U.S. Attorney Edward Y. Kim said in the statement, officials say Alvarez pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government and steal government funds, as well as one count of aiding and assisting in the preparation of a false tax return. These counts carry a maximum sentence of 5 years and 3 years in prison, respectively.
All right. And why did we go to this? So there's different magicians. So he's a magician with numbers, all right, which meaning through mathematics, through different things, right? He's like, I can make it disappear. But obviously what we showed in magic is that they're not doing anything. It's all deceptions, right? Which, right, that's even in magic. So he's like, there's no magic to what he's doing. It's still magic because magic, there's an explanation to what's happening. You just don't know what's happening. All right, so he was able to do that with numbers. And a lot of tax people or whatever, whenever they do that, they call them magicians, all right? And they're number magicians. I mean, they can make whatever number disappear, all right? I think Jay-Z talks about that too, all right? He's like, a lot of that, all right? He's been supposed to get caught, but hey, he deals with his tax prepper, who was a magician, who was able to hide all what he doing through the, washing the money. So any person out there who's a deceptor, they need an individual like this because guess who's watching? The feds watch. So they need people to be able to hide, make things disappear. And this is what these people do. And when they get caught, these things happen.
Accountants are like magicians.
Yeah, he's an accountant basically. Yeah, he's an accountant. All right, so accountants can be magicians too. That's why we're going to this.
Well, that's why even with working too, with owners that have a tight relationship with their accountants, you have to watch too as well. I guess they can manipulate stuff as well, right?
Who? Accountants?
Workplace.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you gotta watch.
You gotta watch everybody. All right. All right, so we'll continue.
Bronx tax preparer sentenced to prison for filing tens of thousands of false returns. Causing $145 million in fraudulent tax loss. Jay Clayton, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, announced. Oh no, is it the same thing repeated?
Yeah. It's off the IRS website.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Announced that Rafael Alvarez, aka the Magician, was sentenced today by U.S. District Judge J. Paul Oatkin to 4 years in prison in connection with his orchestration of a decade-long $145 million tax fraud scheme. As part of the scheme, Alvarez oversaw the filing of tens of thousands of federal individual income tax returns that included false information designed to fraudulently reduce his clients' tax burden. Alvarez previously pled guilty to conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and steal government funds, and aiding and assisting in the preparation of a false and fraudulent U.S. individual income tax return before Judge Oatkin on December 17, 2024. Rafael Alvarez was touted as the magician, when in reality he was an elaborate fraudster depriving the IRS of $145 million in tax revenue and penalizing many honest taxpayers, said U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton. All Americans bear the burden of tax fraud and want scammers of this type brought to justice.
All right. So we're seeing now with these individuals, what we're seeing, all right, that accountants also fall under this realm of being able to work magic with numbers, deception, all right, fraud. And the biggest one, or a tax fraud scheme when it comes to returns by a preparer, this person is called the magician, all right? That was his nickname. Not the police didn't give him that, all right? That was what they heard him being called by his customers. All right, so we're gonna continue. All right, and we're gonna go into Charles Fay. All right, and this individual, so we're going into important names. When we go through this, you're gonna see why all these individuals we're going through are very important when it comes to the modern makeup of mechanisms, magic, electronics, gambling, all of that. All right, so we're gonna go to Charles Fay. Has anyone ever heard of Charles Fay? Yes and no. Most likely not. Like, guarantee you used some of his things before. All right, so we're gonna go through Charles Fay. This is off his personal website that they have for him.
Charles Fay. Historically, Charles Fay is the man who invented slot machines in 1894. The title inventor of the world's first slot machine goes to him because his invention featured an automatic coin payout system.
All right, so Charles Fay is the man who invented slot machines, 1894. All right, and the first slot machine goes to him because his invention featured an automatic coin payout system. All right, so he invented the automatic coin payout system. All right, continue for us.
Charles Fay was from Germany, born on February 2nd, 1862, in Worringen, Bavaria. He was an instrument maker by trade, but at the age of 18, his desire for discovery led him to work in France, then in England. In 1885, in search of a new life, he joined his uncle in New Jersey, USA. After traveling through several United States, he finally settled in San Francisco. He worked in various San Francisco factories before opening a machine maintenance and repair workshop in 1890, at the age of just 28. In his spare time, he started working on the idea of making a slot machine. Between 1890 and 1894, and after several attempts, he managed to build the first mechanical slot machine with automatic payout. He decided to call it Liberty Bell. His invention became famous in 1895. This recognition made Charles Fay the father of mechanical slot machines. Even today, modern slots are reminiscent of the original concept of Fay's machines.
All right, so Fay, all right, we've seen the modern of the magic, and just once again, the other individual, Houdin, let's go to it. All right, let's go to it again. Houdin, we just get when his birthday was. So I believe he's before this individual. Yeah, Houdin is 1805. All right, this individual comes on the scene. And once again, he's on the scene, all right, 1862. All right, so Houdin's idea of turning illusions into things is already out. All right, this person is basically expounding on it. They don't say nothing about magician, but he's taken that idea of illusions and and he's turning it into a game, slot machine. All right, what's key too about this individual, he never patented this. So his information spread so fast. Everyone started using slot machine because he never patented the idea. And you can just imagine how much people ran to copy and make the machine. All right, so he never patented the machine.
Oh, man.
That was meant to happen.
Yeah, when I was looking, I'm like, did they do that on purpose to make it spread faster? Because why would you not patent the machine? All right, well, we'll continue.
Charles Fay invented the jackpot machine in 1960. One of the game's winning combinations paid out all of the machine's coins. So Charles Fay was also behind the first jackpot slot machines.
All right, so he also invented the jackpot machine. All right. And once again, these are all mechanical, and the stuff that's inside of it, you can't see, slide on whatever it is. All right, you don't know how it does. Somebody could make it for all right, it's really producing random results, or someone could make it where, all right, out of one of the results, it could do what they wanted to do.
There's a term, I think they call it, like, I don't know, I didn't make it up, but I don't remember where I learned it from, but you're going to, like, slot machines. Basically, they want you to feed the machine. Feed it before it throws up. And you know when it truck is throwing a little. So they want you to put in an automatic obviously it's a program.
Yeah.
Where you thousands of dollars, then okay, then there's a payout there.
Yeah. Which once again, if you're looking at it, that person who is I don't think a slot machine ever ran out of its own money. They're always going to program it to be in likeness of a Ponzi scheme, which you just went to, which means the investor is never going to put their own money in there, and the investors are going to be putting in money in there, and they're going to be getting paid out from a different investor who lost their money.
Yeah, that's why it's called jack. What do you do when you take someone's car? Car jacking.
Yeah.
Jack the pot. Jack your pot.
Yeah.
In your pocket. Jack.
All right, that's actually funny. Let me look at that. Jackpot.
I'm looking at it right
Jack,
now.
Jack.
Jack. Yeah.
What's the etymology is? Jack. Let's see. Jack. They don't really have a jack. Verb. Okay, yeah, it's in the verb.
Yeah, because what is too, I think there's a psychology behind it, right? When you're in there, because they mentioned about the other article where the carpet and how it looks, and it's like all these designs where it almost make you feel like you're hallucinating, right? You're drinking a lot of alcohol because they give you free complimentary, right? But then it's also the sights and the sounds, because when you're in the sirens go off, it and there's the flashing going on. Before they changed it to all digital, like when somebody won, you would hear the
Cling. You're like, yo,
and
someone
going
just
how
won.
long,
Yeah, you're like,
right? 'Cause
yo.
money is spitting out coins or whatever. But now that doesn't happen anymore. So I know that was a big part of it. When people are hearing that metal hit the metal down there and paying out, and it keeps going, for them, they want that too.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't do that anymore because they have the tickets and it's all digital now. But that played into the experience of it.
Yeah, so give us Jack.
All right. This is jack, verb from the 1860s. Jack up, hoist, raise, lift with a jack. American English from jack, noun, in the appliance sense, figurative sense, increase, prices, etc. In 1904, American English related, jack, jacking, jack off, masturbate, is attested from 1916, probably from jack, noun, in the old slang sense of erect or penis.
All right, so jack, hoist, raise, lift up with a jack. All right, so it's the raise, take, hoist, raise up, take away. All right, so jackpot. You're going to take the pot. All right, so Charles Fay, once again, created the jackpot slot machine. All right, continue.
Mafia and one-armed bandits. In the United States, the history of slot machines is intertwined with organized crime. Like the alcohol, drug, and construction industries, the slots industry was run by mafiosi, in the 1920s and 30s. Not only was the supply side dominated by monopoly of the mafia, but the machines were rigged too. All the major figures of mafia operations were involved. Lucky Luciano, Frank Costello, and Vito Genovese. These organized groups operated slot machines in bars and underground clubs in Chicago and New York. Of course, Charles Fay, like all slot machine manufacturers at the time, had no direct links with the mafia in the USA.
All right, so just once again, showing you what? That they're telling you that these people who are always going to have these things, they're going to be deceptors. All right, we just went and we just went and we had an exposure. All right. Which came into the NBA as well. All right, which they just went to show you that the mafia is still operating gambling scheme. All right, where they're operating
from 2 indictments of 34 defendants for their alleged involvement in 2 separate illegal poker and sports. Our office conducted a massive nationwide takedown from 2 indictments of 34 defendants for their alleged involvement in 2 separate illegal poker and sports betting schemes where, as you heard, the odds were rigged in their favor. Among these defendants are 13 members and associates of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families. Current and former NBA coaches and players are also implicated, to include Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier. 3 of the named defendants are charged for their alleged roles in both schemes. This alleged illegal gambling operation hustled unwitting victims out of tens of millions of dollars. Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines, fixing the odds in their favor. Our office conducted a massive nationwide takedown from 2 indictments.
All right, so just once again, showing individuals, and we could go again, all right, mafia gambling scheme. Let's see, cards, all right, because they just had that, they just found them. All right, the technology. All right, the technology they just used for this. All right, NBA, Billups. Let me see if we can find that real quick. What they used. All right.
New reaction to the gambling scandal rocking the NBA.
I'm ashamed that those guys will put their families and their careers in jeopardy.
Chauncey Billups, a Hall of Fame player and current coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat, both seen leaving court. They're among more than 30 people arrested, accused of running schemes that made millions by allegedly rigging sports bets and poking wealthy people. Allegedly used in the scheme is like something out of Mission Impossible. The FBI says the suspects used special glasses and contact lenses that could read invisible markings on cards. Casino security expert Sal Piasante showed us some of the technology.
I can't tell you what that top card is, but if I pop in contact lenses, or if I'm wearing my poker glasses, when you look at that card through that filter, you'll see what that card is.
The FBI says the suspects also used card shufflers that were rigged and used what's described as an X-ray poker table that allowed them to see face-down cards through the felt on the table. They also allegedly used what's known as an analyzer. It looks like a cell phone, but when placed in front of a deck of cards, it uses a hidden camera to determine which player will win, no matter how well the deck is shuffled.
This deck is marked invisibly on the side with a barcode. So when this deck gets shuffled and gets placed onto the table, this camera right now is scanning those cards, and it's going to tell you automatically who's going to win.
The device correctly predicting the hand closest to the device will win.
And you win with a full house. 3s and 5s.
Experts say the sophisticated scheme shows that the mafia has modernized.
Everyone talks about the mafia getting smaller, going away. Mafia doesn't go away. They will change based upon the law and how they can make money.
In a separate indictment, Rozier was charged in connection with an illegal sports gambling scheme.
Terry Rozier, right foot discomfort, doubtful to return.
Prosecutors say during this game in 2023, Rozier, then with the Hornets, tipped off bettors that he would fake an injury and exit the game. Bettors placed more than $200,000 on him to underperform.
Just once again, showing, what are we showing? We just went in the prop bet again. So the individuals in the prop bets we're seeing are the deceptive too. So they're there and they know they're being bet on and they're part of the scheme, which is a part of the mafia, which is a part of the deception, which all of this once again is running into magic. And what are they saying again? People are like, oh no, all right, the people, they're looking at magic or that stuff is being old and I won't get card trick. They're not knowing, what am I showing? I just showed that magic is become innovative. and been used in technology and devices. Now, these people who are at these games probably are unaware that this technology and the advancement of deception that has risen, they're probably unaware that someone has a cell phone that they put right in front of the car. Your cell phone is right here and it's reading the whole play and it's telling them, yo, the chances of hands and all different things. But we're seeing from who? From Robert Houdin, right? That his idea was, all right, let's move from mysticism into mechanism and automation and move the illusions of magic into devices and engineering and machines and mechanics. All right. And now we're seeing that that same thing then has spread into what? We've seen the slot machine. And then from the slot machine, we just seen here, all right, it went into gambling, the mafia. Then we just took a look at the technology that you're using in the schemes. All right. So just want to tell you, have to have understanding in this area, because a lot of people, unsuspecting people, all right, get ripped off, get scammed, get tricked, bamboozled. All right. And if you're going into this realm, you have to be very smart, because you can win. No one's saying you can't win. You can win. All right. But if you don't know all these odds against you, and if you are a habitual gambler, eventually you're going to lose. Because the odds are stacked. Unless you got God on your side to go against all these deceptive practices, all right, you're going to lose at some point in time. All right, and just to show again, all right, artists become stuck in these things. All right. And there's a rapper right now. All right, so I'll show him.
I got out the groove, don't gotta say it, they biting the steady. If I'm shooting my shot and I know I'm with it, I put my son in spaghetti before he could walk, he could talk in the I had got off the juice, then the money started blowing up out of the roof. I'm telling the truth, I became the one when I got out the groove. Don't gotta say it, they biting the steady. If I'm shooting my shot and I know I'm with it, I put my son in spaghetti before he could walk, he could talk in the I had got off.
And every time they're looking for him, he's at the casino. All right, everybody finds him. Every day. He's at the casino. Like, where you find out at the casino, and they're saying he's there because the casinos, once again, you lose so much money, and when you're a big person, the casino, they'll give you the private plane to fly you in because they know you're gonna spend a lot. All of these different stuff. All right, so minor credit. All right, minor credit. All right, and especially if you're an entertainer, they know that you'll pay it off in performances, things of that nature. All right, so these are the things that start to happen. There's, the reports of this individual.
See, you gamble to pay your rent. We gamble for fun. So when we lose, we laugh about it. We wake up the next morning, pull out an M, and we're back at it. Back at it. I wish we could do that. Who's gambling for fun? See, you gamble to pay your rent. We gamble for fun. So when we lose, we laugh about it. We wake up the next morning, pull out an M, and we're back at it. Back at it. I wish we could do that.
There's no audio. Oh, sorry. All right. So once again, the gambling sites, all right, are becoming online, digital. And by putting it digital now, they're able to bypass age, right? So youth could get on there. Youth could gamble and gamble away. A lot of youth are getting involved in the gambling because it's being promoted by podcasts. It's being promoted by every show you see is being sports betting, this betting. Betting is all around, and they're paying these people. Why are they paying so much for advertisement? Because they're making so much. If we're looking at, they're in a Ponzi scheme. They have infinite amounts of money to give to the people, and especially to a star who can get them millions of people to come to their website. All right, so they could get a lot of people through these artists, through individuals. So they're buying up all the advertisement right now. Why? Because if it's a scheme, yes, some people will win. Majority people going into there is going to lose. And most people do not tell you how much they losing. So nobody really knows how much being lost. All right, but when they're looking at profiting, even a thing like State.com, they're saying these people are making like 20 million a day, 100 million a day. All right, worldwide, from individuals putting in their money into these systems.
Just look at the people that's leaving out the casino and see how their countenance is.
Mm-hmm.
They go in there pretty happy, but they don't come out like that most of the time.
All right, so all right, so let's go to goal. So I see that state like I did see it. It does. Yeah, I won't do it. All right, so we'll go to the next part. So I just wanted to give that warning that online is the new thing, and online they're able to now use more of that trickery. All right, use algorithm. Now it's algorithm movements, not now mechanical movements in the machine. We're talking about algorithm now, right? Where they can program the algorithms to how they want, to spin it to how they want, right? Where they're allowing the AI, the computer to deal with the patterns now. Before it was mechanical patterns, now it's AI patterns, which is algorithm. All right, so if algorithm is controlling, you have no idea what's going on in the algorithm.
So now that's why they have to ask you all the time, are you an Android?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Android could override the system and, yeah.
Correct. All right, and they also had it too in, so LeBron's movie, all right, Space Jam, I think that's Space Jam 2. All right, so I'll just show that part real quick. Because now, so once again, we're showing you that if you have the opportunity to control the fortune of individuals, and now we're talking about algorithm, they can now control who becomes famous. All right, and I'm just going to show the example of that. Because we're talking about controlling fortune and outcomes. All right, so I want to show when, all right.
They had Don Cheadle playing.
Algorithm.
Algorithm.
Let me see if I can find that part. Sorry.
Rhythmically speaking, he's more than an athlete. He's a king. I know I'm just an algorithm, Pete. That's precisely why I need King James. I'm stuck inside the serververse. No one knows who I am or what I do. But that all changes today. Because today, Warner Brothers launches the revolutionary technology that I masterminded. Today, it's my time to shine. Just look at this guy, Pete. Oh, he is the key element to this entire operation. Once I've partnered with King James and combined his fame with my incredible tech, I will finally get the recognition and respect that I so richly deserve. LeBron James, get ready.
Oh, hello. A new idea from the algorithm. I'm listening.
All right, so once again, what am I showing here? They're showing you that the algorithm basically is an entity within there, all right? And it can make decisions and choices, all right?
Are you unmuted?
Yeah, and now they can make decisions and choices, all right? It can also go and choose an individual, make them famous. All right, so once again, what am I showing? So they can make them famous. So now I'm showing you when the algorithm's there and you're like, yo, this person's YouTube famous, TikTok famous. A lot of it, they could, once again, they already know what you're going to because they're sending you information back to, based on what you're going to. The people that they choose, and they can choose who they want. They can choose, you know what? How much of a conspiracy theorist is he? How much is this? How much is that?
Wow, so basically they've eliminated the tally scale.
They can do it. AI scout. They can scout you.
Wider, broad. It's not just sports now. Now it's like, who's a conspiracy theorist? Let me take him out. What's he posting? Oh, this guy we can use. Okay.
Yeah, you could specifically choose. You could program the algorithm.
Universal scout algorithm.
And then they program into the stuff. They show you what, things that the algorithm likes, or it will push you to the forward, right?
Or you can get shadow banned.
Yeah, or you can get banned, where it's like you're doing stuff that it doesn't like. You're like, all right, you're doing stuff, no fame for you. So, and they have to do that for a way to control the internet and they can't control what you put out, but they can control how much people you get to. All right, and he's still even word of mouth, because once something is thinking, they can't stop that, but they can try it. Yeah, they're narrowing it down with, all right, we're not just gonna show you openly. People are doing and sharing your stuff, that's fine, they can't do nothing, but the algorithm just sharing your stuff. All right, so just showing once again that the algorithm that's what's being used online. That's the new mechanism. That's the new, hey, I can just program an algorithm for whatever it is, and it will figure out patterns and whatever pattern it is and spit it out. All right, and I guess we could just get the etymology of algorithm real quick. All right. And I think, yeah, we're about done. So we're going to do the song part tomorrow. Next week. All right. Oh, yeah.
Algorithm. It's the etymology of algorithm. It's a noun from the 1690s. Arabic system of computation. From French, algorithme. Refashioned under mistaken connection with Greek arithmos, number. From Old French, algorithme. The Arabic numeral system from the 13th century. From medieval Latin, algorithmus. A mangled transliteration of Arabic al-Khwarizmi, native of Khwarizm, modern Khiva in Uzbekistan, surname of the mathematician whose works introduced sophisticated mathematics to the West. See algebra. The earlier form in Middle English was algorithm. From Old French, the meaning broadened to any method of computation from mid-20th century, especially with reference to computing.
All right. So algorithm is an Arabic system of computation. The first thing you need to know is that what they're using is Arabic. All right. Came from Arabia. All right. From an Arabic person, an Arabic system of computation. We already went into what imagination is. All right. Imagination is mental contemplation. All right. Mental computation. All right. Imaginations is computation. All right. Casting down vain imaginations, false imaginations. All right. Algorithm is computations, is imagination. Someone could do this, go through the algorithm and think that, hey, I got this because I'm my own. It could be a whole deception, false reality, played there. Which that's why a lot of people say, hey, I'm like this in real life. All right. You might have, people online and how much likes, but how much friends do those people really have? How much people do really hang out with them? A lot of the stuff is just online, and online world could be different from in person. All right, and the same thing they know for stream, because a lot of streamers, they will have, all right, how much people online in their stuff. But the big thing, and even for say for instance, like a DJ Academics, who he does hip hop media streams and stuff like that, he'll be online all the time, but the big thing, even for a person like him, that they'd be saying is, all right, can that person then translate that online to physical? Because your online presence doesn't mean that's going to be your physical presence. All right, and you being online, you might think these people care enough about you to come physically to see you when they don't. All right. So once again, controlling the algorithm. All right, you have no control on it. They program the algorithm. All right, I just want to stress that again. All right. All right. So let's go into algorithms, this thing. All right, algorithms are taking over. Who controls our future online? You just want to go to, actually, yeah, read that to about, I'll tell you when to stop. Let's continue.
All right. It says, the online world is becoming an ever more important piece of our societal existence. In the US, people have become so glued to their phones that 10% of all pedestrian emergency room visits are now from cell phones, and not a week goes by without another report of what has become death by cell phone. A recent Ofcom report suggests that 39% of Americans agree or strongly agree with the statement, "I am happy to provide personal information online to companies as long as I get what I want." The highest of the 9 countries sampled, while 70%, the highest of the 9 countries sampled, while 70% of respondents either agreed or were indifferent to the commercial use of their personal information in return for free services. There is even a growing counter-movement lamenting the role of humans in the digital economy, not as creators of value, but as the content. We are the content. We are the data. As you use your smartphone gets smarter, but you get dumber. Facebook has become such a part of our lives that the slightest outage in front page news and Time magazine writes an entire article about a brief technical glitch. At the core of this digital economy lie a new generation of electronic gatekeepers, a mixture of highly sophisticated computer algorithms, tended and programmed by a small cadre of technical elite that determine what we see in the online world. With nearly 2/3 of Americans getting their news, at least in part, from social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, the decisions made by those algorithms are increasingly wielding an outsized influence on American life. Perhaps most famously, the 2 social media platforms attracted outsized attention in 2014 during the height of the Ferguson protests, during which Facebook's algorithms filtered out the violent protests and replaced them with happier imagery of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
All right, so this is showing you that they're able to switch out, once again, what's going into the forefront. And someone's like, "Oh, am I going viral to this?" No, it's the algorithm they could program to switch out one person to be in the forefront, and the one thing to be in the back.
And different dances and stuff that they do.
No, it's just about narrative control. That's it. Who's going to control the narrative?
Who's going to control the narrative?
That's
Right.
kind of like in Fukushima, what happened there in 2011 with Japan with the earthquake. I don't see that video online anymore, but there was a Caucasian man that was over there at the time when it was happening, and he was kind of in the region, and he was showing how the government is over there. So the earthquake happened, and he felt it because it was fairly strong, right? So he's checking on the news. Every station had something that was laughing, like comedy, game show, but everything was to do with comedy and laughing. Nothing about what was actually going on. He's like, "Look at this," and he switched at least 6 channels. No news information.
That's basically what they're saying was going on with the war. If there's not independent, journalism, right, going on, then you wouldn't really get the true story. Right, which that's another thing about the internet, which they want to control as well. Which, once again, now that I realize that's why certain pages, like over here, in every state has a state page that gives you news. And if you notice, it's not the news page, because online they really stopped the news pages from being able to really share online, and they were keeping it for news channels instead of online. And that gave the rise to, all right, they will tell you on the news what happened, but online, these people made the pages to tell you what's going to happen, and their pages grew and got big. And the media pages, no one wants to hear from them. If you go to their page, they got like 20,000 followers, this follower.
We have over here called the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC. They're state or government funded, but there's a lot of censorship that goes on over there, and a lot of bullying too as well. So if you're a reporter, there's a man named Travis Danraj. I used to work in there, but he basically was suppressed, and basically they muzzled him. And there was a lot of intimidation going on over there.
That's what they have.
So when it comes to them being supported by the government, people are telling them it's about time to defund them, because the narrative, obviously, that they're pushing out isn't the true narrative, but it's whatever they're being told to push out.
That's why they're always having the protests down there. Yeah,
because you're not too far from there.
I always see them.
Yeah, it's right down the road there.
Yeah, constant.
Yeah.
All right, so they're doing that, because these pages are not it gave rise to alternative media pages. So now you're getting your news from these pages that set up online to be your city page that gives you news.
Like in Canada, I mean, CBC have Rebel News over here.
There's Rebel News, right? Or you get an urban one like Six Was, or they have the urban ones, and they show you the raw news, the footages, raw footages.
There's investigators that go and Six Was don't do that. They're showing clips.
Yeah, they just show clips. Yeah.
They're not funded by the government.
Yeah, Rebel goes to I see them do a couple of the protests.
So basically, what you're saying is before they had to go around, kill people, take all the books, change the books, burn the books, keep stuff, hide stuff. To change the narrative, now they just do it digitally, touch of the button.
Yeah, because they realize once again they have a mechanism, algorithm. You could use it to program whatever. It's not just you could use it to show somebody. You could use it for do this thing for gambling. You could use it for many things. It's used for whatever you program it for. It's gonna do.
It's the
And it's just computation. It's just calculation of patterns in certain things.
In today's society, too, if you look at it, everybody is connected to technology in some way, shape, or form, regardless of age, right? So, like the aspect of social media influencing people, the rates are very high, right? So, yeah, it's easier for them to influence the masses through the algorithms.
All right. And what people are learning is like, all right, you gotta basically go with the flow of the algorithm. You see this is what's going viral, go get the viral music that's going getting viral. And you have to intertwine that in your stuff. You can't really go and say, all right, I'm going to put my own material that's just your own. Yeah, it's going to block it out.
You have to follow the crowd.
Yeah, you have to follow the crowd and intertwine your niche to intertwine everything in together.
And if that algorithm likes the face, likes the following, it's going to...
Say you're gonna go against the community guidelines. That's what it says, the community guidelines. Yeah.
Right, so words, everything. See people being careful with words. They don't want to say that. They're like, on the live, on this. And some people do too much where they're like, they just switch up. They don't even want to take a chance with the algorithm. So everything that they think could be bad, they switch it up. Yeah. All right, so.
Especially with the Epstein where they're like PDF files now.
Yeah, PDF files.
You want a PDF file.
Yeah.
You want a PDF.
Nobody must be looking at my stuff at all.
All right. So once again, this was very light. We didn't go to as much. We went to scriptures at the beginning, but a lot of this bulk was information about the deceptive practices, information about the connection between magic and gambling. All right, we learned that gambling is really investing, but to make you aware and so that you can't sue nobody, they move investor, because investor means, hey, you're putting your money somewhere and you want a return. And if someone's gambling, they want a return. All right, but if it's in that realm, then it's regulated. All right, in the gambling realm, by labeling it gambling, you know that this is very risky return, and it's a game that you're playing. Reason why it's labeled gambling. But it's really investing. And it's really a pawn scheme, because we looked at a pawn scheme and we looked at that a pawn scheme really is,
Ponzi or pawn scheme?
Ponzi scheme, yeah, Ponzi scheme. All right, so we looked at Ponzi scheme and we seen that it's primarily when people invest, right? The investor, first of all, puts nothing in, and it's people who invest, and the investor is paying out the people with prior investors' money, never with their own. In gambling, that's what happens. They're never using their own money. It's people who's gambling, investors. All right, well, these investors know they're not getting a return. Only a few returns are happening, and that's called the winner. All right, and that's how it's legally able to happen. All right, and just going into, again, the trickery of magicians and how if you're able to do tricks like that, it's going to be closely associated with money. And once you look into a place of money like a casino, we're seeing that they know, hey, you got to watch magicians, people with sleight of hand, all of that. They know what it is because they're doing the same thing to people. If they're doing it to people, they're not going to want to get it done to them. So they're armoring themselves up security-wise by getting clients, intel, people set up in security who are familiar with magicians, sleight of hand, card tricks, all these factors. This is where the money is at. And if money is there, you're going to see everyone flock there.
No wonder the Most High had the Essenes hide all the books and the scrolls. So they couldn't be manipulated back then. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the book of Eli, what was he doing? He was taking the Bible and guarding that one Bible because the one guy wanted to take the Bible and use it to control everything.
All right. So, yes, went through a plethora. You should understand more about deceptive practices and magic and gambling. All right. The slot machines. All right. Robert Houdin, who is the father of modern magic and inventions, who came out with automation and mechanisms. All right. Moved away from mysticism with tricks into, all right, let's do it with electronics. Let's do it with machines. Let's do it with mechanics, with automation, with movements. All right. He invents, then the next individual, he's in 1800s, early 1800s. Then the next individual, Charles Fay, comes along. All right. And he just makes it for games. Doesn't say associated with magic or nothing or tricks. But when you look at it, it's being used by the mafia. It has all types of deceptions in there. It has inside of there all different types of cons happening in there, right? The machine is rigged, all types of stuff. Right, to let you know, they're like, oh yeah, it's very easy. The person's initial intent was good, but it's right in the realm of, all right, we can use this to trick and deceive people. And a person who's familiar with magic going to be looking at that as, hey, once it's hiding your hand and hiding the shot, hey, that's easy. All right, so just once again, this is a warning on that section. Not to say you can't partake in those things, but when you're going, you got to know what you're stacked up against. All right, and really understand. Because people are like, oh, I know I'm just here gambling to lose, but did you know it in this depthness? All right, and how it's really stacked up against you. Because once again, I've been in the Ponzi scheme. I still have some Bitcoin from the Ponzi scheme that other people got ripped off. All right, I still got them. So not everybody loses.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
All right, brother woke me up for a Ponzi scheme. I went into it. All right. Whoever was involved, they went down. Hey, I'm good. The Bitcoin's still going. It's still in Bitcoin. All right, so it's just about, once again, knowing when to, you're like, all right, it's a Ponzi scheme. All right, I could do one and pull out real quick.
That's
you know what I mean?
Greed catches people.
Yeah, greed is what catches you. If you think it's not a scheme and you think, oh, everything is here forever, then you get stuck there.
The lure of going there and winning a substantial amount of money, which would take you how long to go and work for, the thought of it's very appealing too. Especially if it's ever happened to you before, and even if you see somebody else happening to them, it's always like, why can't it be me? Or it can be me. And then they clean you out.
And they clean you out. All right. So it's a phenomenon. Once again, they went to native Indian areas. So this is a big phenomenon. All right. A lot of native Indians got taken down with gambling, casinos. All right, they're actually allowed to have a lot of their own casinos because they're separated from them as well.
Yeah.
So they have native casinos as well in the United States. All right, but they were also victims of it as well. All right, and a lot of areas don't want the casino there because they know, a lot of people know what it's going to do. Any place that's really, I guess you could say, what was that word? Conservative. All right, like Texas want the gambling over there and they're stopping it. All right, there's a whole thing about how they're trying to ruin the basketball team over there because, they wanted the gambling to be legalized in Texas and the owners of the team didn't get that. And now they're causing havoc to seem like to cause a reason to move to Vegas to where the gambling is happening. All right, so once again, all right, we had a good thorough lesson. Hope everybody had more understanding. Hope that they got more understanding on the realm of magic and it's a close association with gambling, Ponzi schemes, trickery with money. All right, so we're gonna close out. All right, we're at Philippines 4:8.
It's the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Those things which ye have heard, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me do, and the God of peace shall be with you.
All right, so once again, whatsoever things are true, all right, whatsoever things are just, lovely, any virtue, think on these things, all right, these true things, all right, take away the vain imaginations, the falsehoods, the deceptive practices, and the God of peace will be with you. All right, once again, we went into important information on the lesson today. What are magicians according to the Bible? Part 6. I want to say all praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Ahaya Shahaya Christ, our Lord, our God, our Savior. All praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Ahaya Shahaya Christ, our Lord, our God, our Savior. All praises be unto the Most High Almighty, Ahaya Shahaya Christ, our Lord, our God, our Savior. This is the SC Community Church of Christ. My name is Archbishop Shamar.
And I'm Bishop Michaela.
And that was today's Sabbath report / lesson / worship / song of the day. Once again, what is magicians according to the Bible? Peace and blessings.
Peace.
Only the children of light is gonna understand this.
For there are 3 philosophical sects among the Jews, the followers of the first of which are the Pharisees, of the second, the Sadducees, and the third sect, and the third sect, and the third sect, which pretends to a severer discipline, are called deceivers. These last are Jews by birth, and Jews by birth, and